Come on inside and get yourself something cool to drink.
And no, I ain't changed your opinion.
Hey, watch it.
And listen, man, what's going on with these people? What's happening with these people? Let me just say first and foremost, shouts out to Calvin Watkins. You know what I mean? Dallas Morning News. He get the first question at the press conference. I must say, I was quite surprised. I was quite surprised when Calvin Watkins walked up to me in training camp and be like, "Yeah, man, I know who you are." I was like, "Oh, you know who I am? Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. I'm Voch Lombardi. YouTube, you know me." He was one of many people that knew who I was, walked up, said hi, shook my hand, and said, "Welcome." I'm very grateful that Calvin Watkins reached out. All this kind of stuff. But what I will say, I don't think trading George Pickens is a great idea. You know, and there's been a lot of talk in the town. It's been a lot of talk in the town. This idea that you should use George Pickens and maximize his value. There's logic to the discussion. I'm going to shoot it down, but there's logic to the discussion. The logic is, Voch, if you can't get him signed, then you would just lose him. The least you could do is try to maximize his value by getting something back for him in the event that you can't keep him. All right. I understand what you're saying. But what that does is that it kind of takes the responsibility and the accountability away from Jerry Jones to sign him.
Did you hear what I said?
You know what I mean? If we just walking around and we talking about, hey, man, we couldn't sign George Pickens. It is what it is. I think that's a terrible way to look at it. Because for one, everybody knows that one elite wide receiver is better than two. If you're going to be living in this world where you're in the Dak Prescott window, then you want to maximize as many resources for him as possible. But most importantly, Brother Jones was the one that came to you and said, "Hey, we didn't sign Micah Parsons. We're going to do something with that money." I got a splendid idea. If Micah Parsons would have cost you 47 and GP might cost you 35, bro, you just got to do what you got to do. And you get a discount double check. Check your watch like Nike wristwear. Are you kidding me? You even save a little bit of money. You can go do something else with that. What? I can't do the math. I ain't finna do it and be wrong. 47, 35 with that 12 million left over, you could do what you want to do with it. On top of the idea that it's so many players on this team that you're not going to be paying next year, the money's going to be around. So what's the idea about trading George Pickens? I'm not taking pressure off Jerry Jones in that way. I'm not going to absolve Jerry Jones of responsibility. I don't give a damn who Pickens' agent is. Pickens has shown us. He has shown us that he is worth the money. And no disrespect, if you were to get a 2 or a 1 back for him, that 2 or that 1 won't be worth George Pickens. Just keeping it a buck with you. Because let me keep it another buck with you. Chat, y'all ready for another buck? Oh, chat. Chat, wait a minute. Y'all ready for another buck? I'll use a prior example to further contextualize and make y'all understand where I'm coming from. The Cowboys don't have an elite pass rusher. Let's say the Raiders call and say, you know what? I'll take both Green Bay ones and Kenny Clark. I'm willing to assume y'all will send both ones and Kenny Clark over there to get Max Crosby. That's how the game go. Let's take this into the current conversation that we're having right now. If we were in a world where we didn't have a wide receiver too, dog, we be dying to trade a pick to go get a wide receiver too. So why are we in this world where we're trying to get more picks for our? Oh, we spitting the day. Very good. Y'all spitting the day. Very good. Why would you? We got a guy. We got 2 ones now. We got 2 wide receiver ones, 2 wide receiver ones, and a quarterback, by the way, and a run game coordinator, by the way, and a play caller at head coach, by the way. All that matters to where you got what you need. Leave that part alone. Once you've built something, leave that part alone. Even if your angle is, I'm going to trade Pickens to get more stuff to help the defense, you know what you're going to end up doing? You're going to end up walking into the draft season because all you got is picks now. You ain't even got players. All you got is picks. You're going to walk into draft season with wide receiver written down on your sheet of paper under the header that has a title that says needs. See, right now on your paper, under the header, by the title that says needs, what's written down right now is everything on defense. You could use some edges, some linebackers, some cornerbacks, some safeties. I won't fuss about none of those. Did you know that if you trade George Pickens for another draft pick, you just gave up to go get him. You know, if you trade George Pickens for another draft pick, you're just gonna add wide receiver to that list that's on your paper, on your header, under the title that says needs. So let's just cut it out. We got the bread, okay? We got the bricks, you feel me? And I think we have a clear idea about who GP really is. This is something I want to do on my own time in Content Land. And if y'all were around when we did the last Salt and Pepper Lounge on the Washington football people, we just kind of, pulled up and roasted them for a little bit because it was fun. Now, who cares? I don't think a big enough deal has been made about how wrong the projections of Pittsburgh media people have been. The projection of Pittsburgh media people has been pretty nonsensical. Voch, what do you mean? Oh, there are a bunch of people in Pittsburgh and people in Dallas, for that matter, that were kind of waiting around, seeing what the business was. Is George Pickens going to crash out soon? Because all we heard from Pittsburgh people is that George Pickens was going to crash out soon. I could even make the argument that GP didn't get signed immediately because people was just trying to see if he crashed out soon. What a mistake that is. This ain't a great time to be told so, guy, because I don't want to be that dude. But I was on that train of, hey, man, Pickens is here. Sign him right now because I know who he is, and I have a feeling that he's going to be fantastic with the fantastic quarterback, with the fantastic wide receiver help on the other side of the field or the same side of the field sometimes. I knew that GP was going to be a dude, chat. We had a long conversation about it. If y'all was around, put your hands in the air. I told y'all do not miss that portion of the study guide because it will be on the test. Dog, George Pickens was going to be a dude regardless, and we all knew this, and it was all going to come down to talent. Now, Voch was amongst the mindset of, hey, man, if he crash out, that just mean he love football. But I just didn't think he was going to crash out. I think George Pickens' crash out episodes came from coaching staff putting pressure on him and the idea that he had some nonsense throwing him to football. Ain't none of that going down here. You understand what I'm saying? None of that's going to go down here. I think that's even more of an emergency to sign George Pickens. The fact that he's not on, you ain't really winning games like that. Are we being honest? We just keeping it a buck here. We ain't really winning games neither. It just seems like he's having fun over here and the environment's great and he's just not crashing out and he's getting his in the passing game and stuff like that. Another thing that makes George Pickens valuable is that we saw how when CeeDee Lamb goes down, that George Pickens will step right in as wide receiver one and will be just fine. Like that was his true test at wide receiver, George Pickens, and that proves to us that he's really wide receiver 1B. Like there was this, oh well, he's wide receiver 2 stuff. And, wide receiver 1B can be tricky because y'all remember people was walking around talking about Michael Gallup was like wide receiver 1C. That's getting nonsensical or whatever. But you really know GP is a true wide receiver 1B, and there's some people arguing that he's more dangerous than Lamb right now. I'll leave that for y'all to discuss. I don't want any parts of that. But when CeeDee Lamb went out, GP stepped right in, and we didn't miss a beat as an offense. We didn't miss not one beat as an offense. I think this is the most important part about GP kind of being around too. You know what I mean? Look at his interactions with the other guys. Not just GP being a guy that is friends with the other dudes in the locker room, but look at the energy that he brings to the table and some of the other guys, how their reactions kind of change a little bit. CeeDee Lamb is a gentleman. And he's probably always been a gentleman, but he's a young dude. We're like, hey man, why CeeDee Lamb, da da da. You know what CeeDee Lamb really needed? CeeDee Lamb needed to be brought in while Dez Bryant was here. There would have been some jersey number crossover, but that's fine. But CeeDee Lamb needed to be brought here while Dez Bryant was here. I can make an argument that Terrence Williams and Cole Beasley got a lot of. Here's a vocabulary word for the day. Write this down. I believe Terrence Williams and Cole Beasley got a bunch of residual dog. Write that down. They got some residual dog just from Dez Bryant just being around. Just it rubbing off on them. Like Cole Beasley was rapping and shit. You know what I mean? Like this all, that was the energy of the wide receiver room. CeeDee Lamb is a guy, he comes into the league, he's surrounded by gentlemen. CeeDee Lamb is surrounded by Michael Gallup. He's surrounded by Amari Cooper. I could be wrong, but like I believe like Allen Hurns was on the team when CD first got here or something. I could be wrong, but it was guys like that on the team, like Deontay Thompson or something. I could be wrong. Maybe he got cut, but Randall Cobb was on the team with CeeDee Lamb. You know what I mean? Like Cobb was on his way out for sure, but he was around. You know what I'm saying? Guys like I say Cooper. I say Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks was around. You know what I mean? And those guys, CD had the most dog out of all of them. No disrespect. I just don't think that that's a qualifying statement for the amount of dog that CeeDee Lamb brings to the table. Now let's have a real conversation about what GP brings to the table. I watched last episode of Sounds of the Sideline. It was fantastic. You got an idea to see who GP really is. GP really be out there tearing it up, and GP is a dog, and GP got that energy. And you know what happens with GP's energy? That shit rubs off on Dak and CD. GP's energy rubs off on Dak and CD and the damn head coach. CD came to practice with a shiesty on today. CD came to practice with a shiesty on today. And I know you're probably saying, well, Voch, what if CeeDee Lamb put the shiesty on because it got a little cold outside and he wanted to be warm at practice? They practice indoors. CeeDee Lamb is wearing shiesties indoors. Y'all remember how CeeDee Lamb used to talk in the interviews? He'd be getting that media availability. CeeDee Lamb be like, yeah, we're gonna work hard and just go out there and be the best that we could be. Dak's a great guy, a proven commodity, and Dak is, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. We're gonna do our thing, we're gonna do our best, and go out there, we're gonna play. Y'all heard CeeDee Lamb lately? Y'all heard CeeDee Lamb lately? I knew it was some trouble afoot. CeeDee Lamb came to the press conference with his grill on, and not just his two top teeth. They had the little single tooth on each side. It ain't that. CD had the whole grill on, and not only did CD have the whole grill on, but he had the grill on for his entire media day and when he was talking to Michelle Tafoya at damn CBS or NBC, wherever the hell he was. He was doing the pregame me and the reporter thing with whoever it was, with Michelle Tafoya, Aaron Andrews, and he had his grill in. And y'all know how CeeDee Lamb was talking? Shit, man, I ain't talking about cause you know when that grill big, you can't really talk all that good. All right, man, shit, man, they gonna go out there, shit, gonna go out there, talk a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Shit, man, GP shit, they gonna have to shit. They gotta cover both of them. You know what I mean? They gotta worry about. CD said this. They gotta worry about both of them, man. Shit, they gotta do their thing. And, you know, they gonna do that. We gonna do ours. You know, they gotta stand on a bit. We gonna stand on our too and shit. They gonna have to see CD is different now. CD is different now. And I don't want to live in a world where we got to go back to that nonsense. So, Jerry Jones, if you're listening, you're not listening, but I'm on your radio show. You're going to hear me then when I say it. Sign GP, quit playing. I don't want to hear nobody else's nonsense about trading. All right. Love y'all to pieces, man. Catch y'all next time. Peace.